Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Tree&Sea number 13. Don't you love that original title? Yes, another in the ongoing series of Tree&Sea. Actually, this is more like the 6x8 vertical variation. Now, 6x8 is a very versatile size. I'm really into 6x8 right now, and I was lucky enough to come across some really good deal on some frames. They were all 6x8, so I'm doing a bunch of 6x8s. This one, I will tell you straight up front though, I ran into a struggle, and it's I'm always telling you to work out your stuff in the underpainting. Well, I didn't really, and I just didn't see it, you know. Later on, I saw it when I was reviewing the video footage that I'd recorded later that night, and you'll see the very tail end of this video is me coming in the next day and affecting a change. Now, the funny thing is, if you were in the members area, you would have seen the original reference, and you would have seen the solution there in the reference. I had an idea that I was going to do something different, and I did, and it didn't really work out. It didn't work out completely. It wasn't a 100% deal killer. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the area underneath the tree. The tree itself was quite challenging, the shape of it, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure and avoid there is in the reference there was this kind of like real implied circle, and I still have a little bit of it, but I have an awareness of that. I'm trying to make one side a little higher. You don't really want a lot of circularity in your trees. If you didn't know that, write that down and remember it. You always want your tree shapes to be somewhat irregular. No ellipses, no circles. I call those lollipop trees, and I did my share, even in the face. Oh, by the way, see that little wipe motion I did there? That bit me on the bum. And you can really see it in the 4K again, members area. You can see the reference and the 4K and the initial mixing session, I should say. It bit me in the bum because I was kind of harsh with the paper towel when I rubbed it, and there was a little bit of texture on the board, and it created all these bobbles, and they manifested when I went in later to do the light portion of the sky there, and I was thinking, what is this? Why is this happening? And then I saw again in the video later. Yeah. I really find this sort of scene increasingly interesting and fascinating. As you know, or may not know, a lot of people have been here for a while. This channel's been here for a while. Last year, even the year before a bit, I was doing a lot of seascapes, and I really took on painting the ocean, and I really enjoy that shift from the blue into the aqua. And if it's not present in the reference, which it usually isn't, I will amp that up. A lot of times I'll do that when I'm modifying the reference image. And speaking up, I hope some of you have checked out the live video I did yesterday. I could see some of you showed up while I was doing it, and it's great. Yeah, if more people show up, you should avail yourselves of the opportunity to speak to me if you have questions about painting, because I would basically take a break from the reference manipulation and answer your questions. So, and I'm hoping well, I just need to get comfortable doing it. So that is comfortable for me, just because I'm doing a digital thing. It's a digital experience. But at some point, I can probably turn the camera the other way and mess with a little bit of paint and do demonstrate some points or issues, especially if it was to clarify questions people had. So we'll have to see how we go. Either way, it's all good. It's a bit of an experiment for me, the whole going live thing, and yeah, I'm not that crazy about being on the camera, but again, that's good for me because I'm busy doing things. I'm not just sitting there talking to you, looking at you, except you're not looking back. It's just it's like Hal in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Anyway, let's chat a little bit more about this painting. So I think the red really supported us. I will say I'm having a bit of a challenge. Now see, that's a good tree shape there. I'm real happy with that. A bit my stuff. It's always a little bit geometrical. You know, I try and soften that a bit, and then I actually did end up clicking into stroke mode on this painting, which it happens sometimes, and I don't fight it too much. You know, I call it my Van Gogh mode, and you'll see it coming up. Anyway, the struggle. Well, there was lots of struggles. A big struggle I already told you about was down below with the little cliff, and my ideas conflicting with just not working out. But here the underpainting I was really into. I'm still really into this Mars Violet. The thing is, with the Mars Violet, is it's so super opaque. It kind of messes me up. If I use it in the underpainting stage, it messes me up because I have to lay in the darks thicker than I might want. And if you've been around here forever, I'm a big believer in fairly thin and fairly transparent darks, because shadows are like that. They are transparent. There's always things in them kind of peeking around. Whoop, what, the book? Hey, it's the book. Got several orders for the book this week, and it's gratifying. I'm shipping them out. Just got a new bunch in from the printer, and yeah, it's $60. International shipping's included. International shipping, by the way, is eating up a huge chunk of that. Just so you know, Uncle Mike's not making a ton of dosh on the deal. But what is amazing and gratifying is knowing that my book is out there in people's hands, helping people. I'll bring up the video courses are still on the site. There's going to be some modifications and adjustments there based on feedback I've been given and things. But check them out. They're a good deal. And they're very educational. It's not so much the courses themselves I'm talking about. It's more my approach to I'm just a painter, you know, folks. What can I say? You know, that's a thing. Us modern artists, we're forced to not just worry about the art, but we have to become marketing people and salespeople and use a bunch of other skills that aren't necessarily always complementary to the artistic type personality. And I do have some ability to be, you know, outgoing. Hey, here we are. We're talking, right? We have a channel. But that's just why I see this. I've been going through a big spate of watching videos of people who left social media, but they're sticking around YouTube because YouTube allows you to just connect with people that are in a real way, an authentic way. And that's what I'm interested in at the end of the day. And, you know, people interested in painting, that's the best people on the planet because it's real, you know. And I don't think because I spend a lot of time, I don't actually spend a lot of time doing my digital reference prep. It's really important. I got some insight for you. A lot of you would love to be, you know, artists making a living, and I was that for 13 years. And, you know, I'm doing the fine art thing now. We won't get into, you know, I don't make anywhere near as much as I did with my commercial career. But one of the things I want to point out to you is that, yeah, now here's that insight. Okay, when you're a commercial artist, an illustrator, people come to you with work they want. You know, oh, I want a picture of my kid, I want a picture of a bear, I want a picture of an elephant, I want a picture of a whole scene, you know, circus, whatever it is. You need to collect reference. You know, you're not going to be able to come up with everything out of your own head. In fact, I challenge you to do a really good landscape painting out of your own head with no reference at all. You're going to talk about those lollipop trees, you know. That's going to be difficult. Anyway, getting to my point here, one of the primary things you learn when you're working as a commercial artist and you have to do things is that reference is really key. And we have a saying, not just in the commercial art game, but I think engineers and scientists have this saying as well, and that's garbage in, garbage out. Now, when you apply this principle to your either your illustration or your landscape painting, your fine art, it's still okay. I just challenge you. I mean, if you're a fine artist who doesn't care about reference, let's see what you come up with out of your own head. You know, it's not going to be that awesome unless you're some kind of savant. Now, there are people that were able and are able to generate things out of their imagination, especially if they've done a lot of landscape painting. I think I could come up with a pretty good one out of my head now. But I have to tell you, when I started 13 years ago, even though it was on the end of a 12-year career as a commercial artist, commercial illustrator, when I started trying to do landscape paintings out of my imagination, they were a joke. They were laughable. I wouldn't want to show them to many people because you wouldn't think it was the work of somebody who was actually getting paid to make art for a living, you know? Anyway, spending some time tweaking that reference image is going to mean your painting's better. It doesn't mean that the reference image itself is art, but it is in a sense because it's part of the process. It's all working towards the culmination of the physical painting happening in the real world. So, and that's another thing I've really been into lately is the researching and learning about the AI, because it cranks out some amazing imagery, and I'm really glad I'm not a commercial artist, because I think it's going to affect a lot of commercial artists. There's still obviously will always be artists employed to do work, but it could definitely do a lot. If I was still working as a commercial illustrator, I would be running things through prompts to use for reference. Okay, so remember the garbage in, garbage out. And now, so if you know that, then it's really about most of the photos that you're going to take or come across on the interwebs. They may be fine as photos, and we'll accept them as photos, but they will not work or function very well as paintings if you just translated them into paintings. And you can certainly do that with the Photoshop. You know what does work there is if you light a human model in an interesting way, and then you can convert that to some sort of automatic painting thing in Photoshop. That kind of thing actually looks pretty good and works well. But it doesn't work on the landscapes because the Photoshop doesn't know how to eliminate things. It doesn't know what's in that landscape picture that's got to be changed or moved around. And one of my my friends, who's a supporter of the channel, a wonderful guy, was talking about how when he was putting prompts into AI, he wants an image that he can paint. And so he types in, path to cottage, hills in the background, things like this. It doesn't give him a composition. It just gives him this random stuff that's not at all paintable. It wasn't until he started incorporating that the AI should access or look at paintings as well. Then he started to get good compositions from the machine. So the whole point of all that isn't so much about the AI. What it is to say the human being creates the composition from the inspiration of nature. And that process, in my case, and if you watch the live stream, you'll see it. Now, you may have, why would you want to learn Photoshop if you want to be a painter? You want to paint. But if you want to make really excellent, awesome paintings, and you're a modern, it would behoove you to maybe check out that live video and maybe go and sign up for some Photoshop. It's not that expensive. It's, in fact, US, it's like still less than $20 a month. And there's so many people that can teach you, and YouTube and all over the place. But this is the other thing I want to say. Most people don't want to get into Photoshop because it's just so vast, it's so huge. But even someone like me that knows Photoshop intimately will tell you, I just use a fraction of its capabilities. Here you see me fixing that cliff. And what the real problem was, it's too dark on one side, too light on the other. And it's, there was all this kind of chatter and stuff in the reference image that I chose to ignore, but I used that information to solve my problem, and I think it came out fine. I would prefer a little different type of cliff, but the reference image gave me pretty much only so many options here. One thing the AI is not able to do is completely change things. Anyway, that's it for this week's video. Hopefully you got some good ideas and insight from all the stuff I'm burbling about. Until they come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. And God bless you and your family.